Hello and welcome back to Down the Slope. My name's Ewan and I am once again joined by Liam and Craig. We are hopefully going to bring a little bit more energy to tonight's podcast than what Hibs brought to. I was going to say Love Street yesterday, but it's not Love Street anymore. I think they're another one that's like I don't even get St Mirren Park anymore. I think they've got a dodgy sponsor
SMISA,
that probably
SMISA
pays them
Stadium.
10 quid to the pound. SMISA, is it right?
Uh,
Do you remember when Paisley was getting nominated for like the is it the Culture
City of
City or
Culture
aye?
Award,
And it was like and they were
European
this
Capital City of Culture is what it
and I'm
was.
sure they called the stadium for a year like
They did
the
I. It's not quite level with Hamilton Accies, who I think had about 15 different sponsors in the time they were top flight. Mind they were like the something something CBD oil stadium, and then they were the Fountain of Hope Stadium at one point and all.
It's ironic.
I think at least Livy was just Tony Mac, wasn't it? They didn't have anything else.
they had a couple before that, but I Tony Mac was like the sort of the established one. Do you remember the irony when I think it was a Friday night TV game at the
Hmm.
Global Energy Stadium in Ross County had a power cut?
See if Hibs were to sell the naming rights to Easter Road to a brand, who would you want it to be and why?
Oh, see, that is a hard one. I'm not one of the people that would be so against it because it's Easter Road at the end of the day.
We'd still call it Easter Road, wouldn't we?
Aye.
Like, aye.
Um, oh, Liam, that's tough. Craig, you've not opened your mouth yet. You go.
Uh,
McCurdy's Butchers.
Baby, baby, just because that got so much traction on the last one. Everybody, anytime I wear that top in public, like if I'm going to play football or whatever, I always get slagged.
Do you know what? Bevy at Easter Road, the one how you carried it. Like,
Aye, aye.
that wouldn't be so bad. No, right. Anyway, that was a much better start than I'd had envisaged. And Liam, I'm sure you enjoyed that better than asking how the hell we were. Aye. So Craig, St Mirren, 0-0, decent point. On the road. It wasn't exactly the most exciting game in the world, was it?
Nah, it wasn't. It was quite boring to be fair, but I think, like you say, a point at the end of the day, circumstantial. We'll take it.
Mhm.
The ref done his best to make the game a wee bit exciting. I popped a few blood vessels shouting at him, so that was good at least.
Aye. Liam, what were your general takeaways for the game and anything that you felt like were sort of worth highlighting?
General takeaways were, I don't think, based on my viewing of it on the telly, it was a pitch that was particularly conducive to free flowing football. I think we saw that a wee bit in Monday night's fixture. Um, I thought that it really was two teams who were probably quite happy not to lose the game in the end, in all respect. Like, I think, even with
Hmm.
the 10 men situation, I still felt like it was fairly 50-50 the last sort of 10, 15 minutes. I think that's three clean sheets in
Wow.
the row. So, don't think you can have too many complaints in terms of the defensive output. But I think from an attacking point of view, I think we have seen a pretty significant sort of slowdown in our productivity over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I think was it last week we mentioned is it getting to the point where we're a bit worried about our options in the final third. Um, I don't suppose there was anything yesterday, Craig, that would send you in the other direction.
No, to be fair, there wasn't it was a difficult game. Like it was, especially see for the likes of players like Boyle. Like a lot of his game is based on dribbling with the ball, and there was a number of times that he was trying to dribble and it was just getting completely caught under his feet. Couldn't run with the ball. I noticed it particularly with Trantis a couple of times in the first sort of 20 minutes. He was trying to dribble out of trouble and it just wouldn't go for underneath his feet. Uh, so no, it wasn't a game really for attacking flair players or anything like that. It
Mhm.
was just even if we were going to win the game, it was going to be a scrappy 1-0 or something, I think, in the end.
I mean, Liam, the standout performer I think across the board for everyone has been Rocky Bashiri, and that's probably true of the three games where we have kept clean sheets. He has to be the real highlight yesterday, and maybe even of this whole run. Would you say he's been the main man?
But probably if you take, the whole run and sort of, I mean, there's been probably patches within that run where there's been other players who've been more influential, but I think over the piece, he's the most consistent. We talked a few weeks ago about how he was really well suited to playing that central position in the back three, and we really saw it at the weekend because essentially what St Mirren tried to do was just play it into Alisanya over the top virtually at every opportunity. And I think in every but one of those situations where Alisanya got a shot off, Smith made a good save. I think every but one of those situations he was better. He was first to it, or he just
Yep.
got the better of him, either in the sort of physical contest or across the ground in terms of his pace. And I think that is what he brings to the team, is that athleticism that he's got, which I think is just it's so valuable in those situations when you're playing against teams who are going to play in behind you and just look to play it in behind with such consistency. And we saw to an extent last season with having Hanlon and Fish, neither who are particularly quick. We would get beat with those balls in behind quite regularly, not super regularly, but regular enough that it was a problem. But Bashiri, obviously, in that sort of more central role, can essentially just dedicate his defensive duties to. I know there's a wee bit of sort of aerial duels and stuff he's got to win, but he can dedicate so much more of his time to just
Mm.
tracking that ball in behind.
I think there's actually quite a good direct comparison. Well, it's maybe not a direct comparison, but a valuable comparison to the goal that we conceded against the same opposition at Easter Road earlier this season when Warren O'Hora was sort of dispossessed at the halfway line, and I don't think Rocky was playing that game, and none of the defenders were able to get sort of back, and I think was it McMenamin on the day, I think, potentially, that scored for St Mirren, whereas I felt at the weekend, I totally agree with that. Rocky was immense, especially with it's that recovery speed, isn't it? It's such a big asset because it allows you to start the game higher up the pitch as well and try and like with a higher line force the ball into their half as much as possible. But Craig, I mean the one time that Rocky sort of did get caught out in behind, Jordan Smith came up with a fine first save, but an excellent save to make it a very, very good double save. And I mean, you could say that earned us the point ultimately. Another feather in his cap is Hibs number one.
Absolutely. I mean, look, we were all kind of, myself included, critical when he first came into the team after the Aberdeen game in particular. A lot of question marks about whether he was going to be the number one going forward, but he's definitely cemented his place over the last sort of 3, 4, 5 weeks. It was an excellent save. That's, to be fair, that's probably one of the first occasions where I've gone like it's a save that I wouldn't expect my goalie to make that. He's pulled off a good save. He's basically stopped us conceding a save he shouldn't have made, really, and he pops up. So I'm delighted for him. Delighted, really, to be wrong as well. It's
hmm
it's quite nice. So
Is there I know not to get too far ahead, and we'll fill many podcast hours talking about the summer and a squad rebuild and stuff like that. But is there a possibility that Jordan Smith, if he continues to play like this through to the end of the season, could be seen as more than a stopgap in goals, Liam?
It feels incredibly harsh to say no, but I, I sense that we'll want to go out and sign someone with a track record that's maybe better than Jordan Smith's. Which I feel it does feel harsh, and because I recognise how you talked about Rocky being the most important player. You could make a case for him being the second most important player through this 12 game run, just with the stability that he's brought in a position where if you look at the quality that was there before him, there's a massive difference. I think it would be fairer over a bigger sample size probably to look at it at the end of the season, the
Yeah.
goalkeeping position. I don't really think we should be going out with the mentality that in the summer of signing players to be backups. I think we
Yep.
should be going out with the mentality that who we sign in the summer improves the starting position, and that would include Smith, it would include Rocky, and it would include lots of other players who've been very good for us on this run.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to have to side starters, otherwise, we might not be able to field 11 players at the start of next season. Um, Look, there's not a whole lot else to talk about in the game other than, and this is really annoying. I can no longer say we try not to talk about referees because for the third game in a row, we are going to be talking about a referee. Mr. Hardy's performance perfectly summarized in Alsana Mani's. red card for I'm sorry, a second yellow for winning a header. Yeah, that was just the tip of the iceberg. Craig won it for what was an absolutely woeful display for both teams. Just,
I was going to say that I wouldn't want to come across too biased when talking about referees, but it was absolutely shocking for both sides. There was a number of decisions at the game where I'm going like it went in favour of us. Going that was never one in particular. Was a throw in that we got out on the right hand side as I was looking to it, and Boyle like definitely knees it out the park, clear as day. Uh, and then Boyle, you can see Boyle like goes to reset to defend the throw in, and then next thing the referee overrules the linesman and gives it to Hibs, and the St Mirren fans went absolutely nuts. But
mhm.
obviously, like you say, the Mane one, I think it's just another example of an overexcited referee. Like, because you can see he gives the foul, and I can almost accept him giving a foul for it. Like, but he, as soon as he gives it, he's not gonna book the guy, and then it's like he realizes, oh wait, no, that's a player I've already booked. I can get my red card out here,
Mhm.
and that's what makes his mind up that it is another yellow card is because the guy's already been booked.
I don't know
So
if you've
it's
seen
just a
the
poor decision.
I don't know if you've seen the clip of like it on Premier Sports' Twitter or whatever, and Michael
Yeah.
Stewart on commentary, and it's like his disbelief when he sees him going to like send them off. It's just like,
Uh,
or it's not actually disbelief's not probably the word. It's like he's laughing almost at the because it was just like, of course he's done that, Liam. Do you know what I mean? Like
uh,
on the way that the whole games went, of course he's taken that opportunity. Like,
I think he wasn't having a good game by any stretch of imagination, but it did seem to get kind of dramatically worse after he got the penalty, so
oh,
badly wrong. Phillips has obviously gone in with his arm up in the air, but I mean it's not even close to contact with the arm, and I think maybe his confidence was taken a bit of a beating by that, and decisions did seem to really take a bit of a downward turn from that point onwards. It wasn't a good refereeing performance,
mm,
and it's another one where he's a fairly young referee who's just been promoted. I think chances are he's probably going to be around for quite a long time, as with other referees who we've discussed in
yeah.
recent weeks.
I think Sean Murdoch made his top flight debut this weekend as well, former Hibs goalkeeper
Fourth
in
official
the.
though.
Oh, what? Right, okay. I'd just seen it. Right, okay. I'd just seen him tweet. I just assumed he was. That I think. What? Just as a side note, what do you make of that? Like, I mean, I've already seen a Rangers fan tweeting that he changed his header photo from him refereeing a set. Have you seen this? No. So Sean Murdoch's Twitter header photo was him as the referee at a Celtic women's versus Hearts women's game at Celtic Park. And then he tweeted on Friday or whatever saying that he was obviously making his sort of Premiership debut and how it was a big step for him. And a Rangers fan has tweeted a before and after of his Twitter header because he then removed it and they basically were suggesting that this shows he's a Celtic fan and how it's all biased and there's so many referees that are Celtic fans and it got me thinking. I was like, whilst that is obviously paranoia to the extreme, how long is it before he referees a Hibs game or a Dunfermline game or do you know what I mean? And
But
like,
every referee is going to have some sort of
I know,
allegiance,
like,
though. I mean, I know of
I think it's a good
couple
thing,
of
like
couple of
that a player's
referees.
coming through, but
I mean, none of them are players, but I know of a couple of referees who've either come through or gone through the system, and they have their own allegiances with clubs that don't happen to be Hibs. And I've kind of jokingly said I hope to never see a referee in a Hibs game. But I think we all know that ultimately, I don't think there's. For me, I'm never really worried about bias. I'm just worried about competence. I think
oh yeah,
competence
yeah,
is the
that was
measure, and
that wasn't
I
me
think that's the
questioning that bit.
problem. No, 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 it wasn't. No, I just think, I just think, yeah, competence is my main worry, and I think like it is a difficult job. I think, that's the thing that we sometimes overlook when we're hammering them. It is a difficult job. It is very well paid, but I still think, given the level of difficulty and scrutiny, that there's not an awful lot of people in society who would want to put up with it.
Nah,
The level of scrutiny you get. I think it takes I
time
mean,
as
we've seen
well.
Craig Napier stepped away, hasn't he, in recent weeks? You
Is
know,
it?
I think
Mm.
he's someone who's obviously taken quite a lot of flack, and I think rightly so, because I just don't think he was up to be honest. But you kind of wonder, you know, with him stepping away or not, that will set a bit of a precedent, you know, with other younger referees coming through the system.
Yeah, I think I hope that like I think it's a good sign that a former player has went down that route. I think it at least
Helps with
can
credibility.
aye, and it can at least take away. Oh, he's not played the game, which I
It's
mean,
pity he's a goalie though. Eh?
it doesn't really count, does it? GMC said in the YouTube chats that Stan Laurel would have been a better referee at the weekend. If we were to go back to Hibs, we obviously spoke about Smith and Bashiri being the standouts. Look, the first thing we've got to stress is Hibs are 12 games unbeaten, and this is it's absolutely anything but panic stations. It's a point at St Mirren, played with 10 men for, was it 10, 15 minutes by the time injury time was all said and done. Like, it's not a bad place to be in, but is there some players maybe starting to tail off a little bit for you, Craig? I've seen Josh Campbell maybe getting a little bit of stick today on Twitter, which is obviously wholly unsurprising, but Martin Boyle's not scored for a couple of games. Dwight Gale's not scored for a while.
It's still the sort of usual suspects, to be fair. It's kind of what you expect when we don't win every game. Uh, but I think ultimately you need to look at we're relying a lot of or relying on a lot of the same players that we have been week in, week out. And I think there's probably a bit of an inevitable fatigue comes in. Uh, the more and more games that these guys play, not only just physically but mentally as well. Uh, so I think it's natural to see some of them dip in form a wee bit, considering we had that sort of, I would say, the first sort of 8 games of that unbeaten run were
Hmm.
were really strong and the performances were good. So it's an look, if they're tailing off now and we're still unbeaten, then I would say that's a pretty good sign
Yeah.
for going forward. Because when these guys start firing again, and when we get the likes of Ewan and Newell back, then things should get even better theoretically.
That's what I was going to say, Liam. I was sort of like maybe two-pronged, or maybe seeing the downside of a lack of January transfer window activity, maybe with just some options maybe that we're missing at the weekend, and maybe the same at Ross County. But also, does it show that Eliu and Joe Newell, Marvin Ekpiteta, players like that can come back into the fold could really sort of kick us on again? And like Craig said, we're still unbeaten, so
I mean, definitely a lack of, you know, options as a result of the January window. You know, I think a lot of the other clubs around us have really strengthened in January. They've brought guys who've maybe come directly into the starting 11, or now that we're in mid-February, given they were recruited in early January, have sort of worked their way into the starting 11, and we don't have that. But you make a good point. You know, I think you and Newell and Ekpiteta will, because they've all been out fairly long term now, you know, will be like new signings to us when they're available. But can't help but think, you know, with the Celtic, Dundee United, and Hearts games coming in quick succession, that we really could have done with them back at the weekend there, rather than waiting for them to come back against Celtic.
yeah. And Kieran Bowie's obviously a player that has come back, and his minutes are out obviously absolutely being managed. I mean, I think we can understand that, but I think the three of us are sort of in agreement that it's about time that he starts a game for Hibs. Like, it just for me, I think he has to start this weekend. And I think he's getting the benefit of the doubt because he's been injured as well. That I'm saying he has to start because I don't think he's been that much better since his return than Gale or Miko, but I think it's time that he comes in to start a game. Craig, would you agree?
To be fair, I think they're obviously absolutely petrified about sticking him in from the start. That's what it looks like, to be fair, because the guy looks fit enough when he comes on. It doesn't look like he's like really toiling after his half an hour. So I'm probably not quite at the same stage of impatience that maybe some others are, but I'm on the way to that, especially when we're not scoring goals. And when he comes on, you see the difference in physicality that he brings. Like we could do with that.
Yeah, Aki's mentioned in the chat saying that he thinks, but it looks like Boyle's maybe lost a little bit of the burst that he'd sort of rediscovered on his when he first came back into the team after his spell out, and could it be where we maybe try to have to limit his minutes a little bit to try and keep him like as a 70-minute burst out of or 60-minute burst out of Martin Boyle better than 90 minutes of just dipping that little bit below, but it's probably difficult, Liam, when the other options aren't exactly hammering the door down deserving a start.
I think you can only do that when Ewan's available, to be honest, because I think you take Boyle at that team. Where's the pace in the final third?
Yeah, 100. Yeah, I know. Absolutely, I agree. What do you make a? And I don't. I really don't want to do this, but it is always a talking point with Josh Campbell. I don't mean it to be about Josh Campbell. I mean it more around the position in the team. Like, so obviously, Alex Hannah is not going to be available this weekend, but when he's available, if Levitt's available, I don't. Did we find out why he was missing at the weekend? And also when Joe Newell's back, does the would you be looking to play two of the guys that would be coming back, be that Levitt or Newell, or would you still have Josh Campbell in your team? Like, just
Campbell still starts for me.
yep. Craig?
I, yeah, I would still start Campbell. I really like his energy. But the last couple of weeks, I feel like we've lacked an option like passing the ball into midfield. See, I don't know if you guys noticed that on the telly yesterday, but there was a number of times where there was a like Kwon was coming short for the ball and it was on, and I feel like if Neil was in that position, they absolutely would have trusted passing the ball into him, even with somebody at his back. But with Kwon, they just did not want to put it into his feet. They did not fancy it, and it ended up then getting shelled down the
Aye.
line a lot of times. So I think we need that option in there.
Yeah, I think we definitely missed Joe Newell. Liam, you mentioned it ahead as well. Like it felt like a game that maybe we could have done with him sort of just coming on and sort of dragging us sort of forward and taking the ball 20, 30 yards out of the pitch. But look, there's seven games before the split. We've all sort of played about with different permutations and stuff. What's your confidence level of a top six finish and a European finish, Liam?
I've not played about any permutations. You've been playing about the
Let me just find
permutations.
your message here this
I just
morning.
said all I said was I think the two games against the Old Firm. I think that'll be difficult.
Aye.
To be honest, I think the fact we're playing Celtic at home and Rangers away is probably not the ideal combination. In all honesty, I do think the results for us are probably going to have to come in the other five league fixtures. Not completely writing off Celtic at home, but I do think that'll be difficult.
We think 8 or 9 points definitely gets you top six. It's
I
sort
can.
of
I think we'll get a minimum of six. But I think there is the prospect. I mean, there's more points. There's more points than that out there for sure. But I think we'll get a minimum of six. Um, I would like to see us get more than nine because I think anything probably less than nine, I think starts to get very difficult to get into the European places with how competitive it is up there.
yeah. What
It'd be disappointing.
it would be disappointing. Obviously, the the Dundee United game, that's sort of going to that's probably going to determine whether you can or can't catch them. Forgive me, I don't, I can't remember off the top of my head how many points we are behind them. I know they've not got the easiest game in the world at the weekend either, but to give up three
Be
points on
behind them.
them, and obviously you would still play that, you would still play them in the split, of course. But if you were to go to 6 points, that feels a little bit like we just the amount of games to go. I mean, it's not uncatchable, but
It's
it's a
as
big.
much them as it's the glut three teams that are 3 points behind us, and there's a team 4 points behind us who seem to have hit a bit of form as well.
Mhm.
I think we're naturally looking above ourselves. I think that's the right place to be in, but the league is so congested that someone just needs to put together a run, and I think there's plenty of teams in there who are capable of it.
And there is also a team that are on one that could quite happily just continue on. That being
Hmm.
ourselves.
True.
The games that we do have left, obviously, I'm sure most people know, but I'll just quickly run through them. This is going to be in not probably the correct. I'm just about to tell you the fixtures, right? Knowing the right order, where I've literally got a phone here that tells me the fixtures perfectly good. So Celtic at home, United away, Hearts at home. Celtic in the Cup, Killie away, St Johnstone at home, Rangers away, and Dundee at home. There's two home games in there where if we have ambitions to finish this season strongly, you have to be taking 6 points out of six, Craig, against Dundee and St Johnstone.
Yep.
Out with the games, where do you see Hibs collecting the points that'll mean that come the split we're in for an exciting finish?
I think we beat Dundee United away. To be honest, I'm going to jump on Harry's bandwagon about Dundee United. Probably not quite as strong as he does, but I think we're a better side than them. And hopefully their pitch won't make it a non-event like it did at the weekend.
Hmm.
So I'd fancy us to win that game, to be fair. Uh, do I fancy us to beat Jambos? Ooh. No, not really. Not really, to be honest. But I think you've got to be looking at Dundee United away, the two home games against
Mm.
Dundee and St Johnstone. There's 9 points right away, and then if you can just pick up a point here and there in
Yeah.
the other games, and unfortunately, I'm going to go for the pessimistic, just avoid a pumping off the old firm, and try and
Aye.
keep a wee bit of momentum going.
I think that's the thing as well, isn't it? Like I think when the this is it sounds so stupid and it isn't true, but momentum is such a big thing in football that like, so say we don't win at the weekend, you draw or you get beat or whatever, then you maybe pick up a point at Tannadice and you draw with Hearts. Then you go to Celtic Park in the Cup, and that's obviously going to be really difficult. Whilst we're saying that, like, then you've got Kelly away. Do you know what I mean? So, like, we've got a real tough run of fixtures there before the next game where you go, if you were a bookie, you go, that's a home banker. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's like, it is a really season defining run of fixtures that we've got coming up here. And, like, I can see Dave saying, closer to cashing out my top six bet. We've looked a bit really, really poor for a while, and others around are starting to pick up again. G saying the next three games are absolutely massive. Um, and he said if we drew all three, the next three in the league, it would be reasonable, but we do need wins. And I, I mean, it wouldn't come as a massive shock to me if we did come away with draws at all the games. I think not to skip ahead to the weekend. I think we'll do fine at the weekend. I genuinely think we will do okay. In fact, we'll just go on to the Celtic. Have you got any more to say, Liam, on the sort of pre-split as a whole, or no? What do you think for the weekend? Celtic have obviously they go to Bayern Munich on Tuesday night. Like that doesn't mean that it's going to be an easy game at Easter Road on Saturday, anything from it. But I think we'll be okay. I think I fancy us to get a point at least, and we've seen it in the past against Celtic. We've got a much better Rangers against Celtic Easter Road than we do Rangers. Like I think we'll be able to frustrate them, and maybe if we do get a couple of players back on the bench of that, we might look a bit stronger and carry a threat. Just I don't know. Where's your head at? I'm feeling okay. Liam, sorry, that was a big ramble.
That was a trademark length
I know,
question,
mate. That
that
was a good
one.
one, wasn't it? That was
Really
a good
good.
one.
Where's my head at? I mean, I think, being honest, I think I'd rather the Bayern games on Wednesday night than Tuesday night. I think that would have helped us, shorter turnaround time. I think the chances are it will have some impact on the game because I think they'll probably will spend a lot of time without the ball on Tuesday night. So I think they will do quite a lot of chasing. But I think, in all honesty, they can probably still make 4 or 5 changes, to the sort of wide areas where players have done most of the running and still name a really, really strong team because they've got that level of strength and depth. So I think there will be some impact, but I've got to be honest, and I think it's going to be very, very difficult for us. I think they are just a bit of a level above anyone else in the league at the moment, really, and we're going to have to probably summon, an amount of form that we just haven't really produced in the last few weeks. We're going to have to actually carry a bit more of an attacking threat than we have done, which, maybe it'll be the kind of game because Celtic will play a bit higher up that might be a bit more conducive to
Uh-huh.
us doing that. But I think we've got to be clever with the team selection in order to help us do that. And I think one of the first things we can do is bring Kieran Bowie back into the starting lineup. And I think it would be enormously helpful if we were to have Joe Newell available because whilst I'm not exactly going to miss him, we won't have Kwon in the centre of the park as an option. So really it's Mariah Welsh or
If Levitt was available.
Levitt if he was available. I
Aye.
wouldn't hate Mariah Welsh in there, to be honest. If for his energy against Celtic, but for what he gives you off the ball, it probably doesn't give you an awful lot on the ball. And when you do get possession against Celtic, you really need to use it well, and I think that's going to be key for us.
Aye. Craig, do you think Hibs sort of need to set up to this game how we sort of switched to in the Rangers game, and sort of got ourselves back into it? We certainly tried to be quite front foot early in that game and got picked off. Do you think we need to be a little bit more? What's the right word? Had a word in my mind.
Pragmatic.
That's the word. Aye, thank you, sir.
Yeah. I was just sitting thinking about that when you guys were sort of discussing it. The last few times we played Celtic, we've got blitzed early doors. Obviously they start really
Hmm.
quick, but I think with them playing in Europe midweek, there's a tendency with teams that have played a few days before a game that they generally start a bit slow. So I feel like and sort of feel their way into the game. I feel like that first sort of 15, 20 minutes for us could be key. Avoid conceding and maybe try and stretch them a bit, get them running, and basically don't let them settle into their game. It sounds obvious with Celtic, but I think if we can noise them up right from the start, uh, and just make the game as have as little flow as possible. To be honest, and that sounds like so pessimistic. And we're the home team, we should be taking the initiative and playing the football. But I think, like you guys pointed out, Celtic are a level above, and I think we maybe just have to have that sort of realism about it and just try and
Hmm.
make it a fight.
Yeah, I mean, so G said there in the YouTube comments, we need Yuan back as soon as possible, but it really depends on what Yuan comes back. A hungry Yuan would be just what we need, but we don't know which version of him comes back. I mean, it's getting close to a transfer window again, isn't it? No, I don't have, I personally don't have any doubts. I think he'll come back and look, he might take a couple games to get sharp, but I don't think there'll be any attitude, or commitment sort of issues. I think it's probably, if there was going to be any question marks around that side of his game, the fact that he has missed a couple games directly after the window, you would hope that that's sort of passed as well. Do you know there's maybe no lingering sort of ill will or anything? I'm just having a look here at some of Celtic's last sort of Champions League games and maybe where they've played away after it and looking for any cause for optimism. And well, they've won most of them. But I don't know if you recall, Craig, they went to Kilmarnock and won 2-0, but it was a pretty sluggish performance. Rio Hatate absolutely should have been sent off. That was following a home Champions League game. They played away to Dinamo Zagreb the midweek before they played Rangers in the cup final, and they were pretty poor that day. Sort of
Just have to lose it.
stuttered over the line. And then the last game they played away in Europe was to Aston Villa, and I mean, they started like a house on fire inside the first minute against Motherwell. But again, Motherwell sort of kept them honest, and Celtic only killed the game off with the last kick of the ball. Do you think there could, like you say there, like maybe that shows that when they do come back to Scotland on the weekend after a European game, there's maybe a little bit of cause for optimism there?
Maybe, but I mean, to be fair, you've listed off all the games
Three
that they've won
wins.
after playing in Europe, so it, it doesn't make great reading that. To be fair, but I think you just look, as always when we play Celtic. I always think about it. We need them to have a bad day, and we need to be at our best. Like that to beat Celtic, you need that because ultimately they've got much better players, and I honestly think it's as simple as that. That their players are just much better than ours.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think we need to just obviously just do the basics, match their running, match their work rate as much as possible. Or well, you have to really outwork them, I suppose,
If they bring that hump
and
to
and hope that they're wasteful on the ball.
if they bring that hump to Liam Scales in at centre half, will be grand. Just fucking run it. Just run it. That useless prick all day. Nah, long
Greg
time
Taylor's a
listen.
weak link now.
Long term listeners will appreciate that. But I think that if even if Celtic made changes, it might lift us. But like, look, McCowan and then what? And Jota might play. Do you know what I mean? Like it's no bad. A player that they sold for 25 million a couple of years ago might come on in a rotated side. Um, but aye, so Liam, you're not feeling all that positive before the weekend, but go and give us something. Give me any insight into that might get you up at 12:15 on Saturday.
I think, if there is one place where we still continue to look dangerous and create chances, it's from set pieces. And I think, we saw Warren O'Hora had a great chance,
Mm.
where he should really do better from a cross ball. Um, yeah, I think that's probably where our, like, in all likelihood, the best opportunities are going to come from. And Rocky's getting on the end of some stuff as well. So if you're wanting a prediction, I'll give you a prediction: 2-1 Hibs.
be there for
Happy
Liam.
days, aye. I mean, that is that is what got us back into the game and earned us a point against Rangers. Being a bit more pragmatic and ultimately getting the ball into their box and making them defend, which is something that especially Celtic, they don't have to do that much. If you can try and get them turning and facing their own goal and get the ball in behind them, and I'm telling you, Liam Scales will play will be absolutely fine. 2-0 Hibs. What about you,
Just play a
Craig?
bit of just play a bit of shithouse football. Just what we're good at. They'll play a high line, shell balls in behind, and look for runners in behind. Uh, I'll go a nice two each.
Happy days. Got some RB prediction coming in there. GMC, he's sticking with on that Rocky hype train. Rocky 96th minute winner. Now, of course, if we were drawing that game, then we would just be playing 96 minutes because it's just play till Celtic score in it. G said if we play the same type of game St Mirren and Ross County play against us, we may well sneak a win. Would be a crap game, but possible points on the board. That's the way it is against the Old Firm all the time, isn't it? You just got to dig in and see what you get. We have done a whole 35 minutes here, boys, which is impressive after a 0-0 draw, I think. But Liam, you before we wrap this up on a fairly short episode, you have some fun for us. You are bringing back Hibs. Guess who?
I say bring him back. It was on a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it?
Aye, so
And it's popular. It's back by popular demand, ladies and gentlemen. We keep hearing that people really enjoy playing along the game, so listeners can play along as well. You can put your shouts in the comments, Craig, and you, and I would ask that you turn off your YouTube if you're watching it, just in
hmm
case. Don't want you cheating and using the listener suggestions. I will catch you out if you do that, of course, because I'll be keeping an eye on it. But I'll be reviewing five clues
Brilliant.
about five former Hibs players, and you and Craig will get one opportunity to guess. Once they guess, they are out. So I have got our first player, ladies and gentlemen. So this player was sent off 4 times in his Hibs career, twice against Hearts and twice against Rangers.
hell, right.
This
That's much
player,
better than telling us like what national team they represented at under 16s, by the way. That's a bit much
you like
better.
that one? You like that start? Okay,
Aye.
right, okay. This player played exclusively in France and Scotland.
Okay.
He left Hibs to sign for Cowdenbeath.
I've got a player in mind, but nah,
You
that's
know,
fine.
that's 3 clues we're in, so you've only got 2 clues left, lads. He scored 2 goals in all competitions, one against Dundee United, and the other came against Stranraer. That's your 4th clue.
Okay, now
I'm
it's not.
toiling.
Right.
This is gonna be a bad one, then. I think we're gonna get this.
I
Hibs
don't think he's that
defender.
either. I don't think he's either. So, I signed for Hibs in the year 2000
Oh,
and left in 2006,
six
having made
years.
159 appearances.
Mate, I was 3 when he signed, so I can't mind the announcement video.
2006. Nice. Right, 2006. So that's the summer before we won the League Cup. Um,
Joe's in the YouTube comment saying Pat McGinley, no Joe. You're a
right,
few
let
years
me.
out with that one.
Two
He's got to be French,
goals,
no?
or maybe just in a wee year at. Is it is it Shuwat? No, he wouldn't have played against Hearts or Rangers.
Well, I'll give you I don't know if an additional clue is going to help with this one.
Aye, go on.
I'll give you an additional clue. Central defender.
100 games, centre half.
Played a wee bit of
Ability.
right back as well, I think.
It's not Cole Doumbé. Nah,
No,
nah,
nah, nah. It wasn't quite
nah,
6 years.
nah.
You will definitely know, Craig. You might have been 3 when he signed. But you were 9 when he left, and you'll definitely
Oh,
know him.
can't believe I
Definitely know him.
can't believe I guessed Doumbé. He left before Mowbray came in. Eh,
Played. The thing is, he played in a few Hibs sides. So he played under Alex McLeish, obviously. Think he maybe fell out of favour under Sawsey, but played quite an extended period under Bobby Williamson. No one's got it in the YouTube comments, which
He
I'm quite
played quite a
surprised
lot
at.
under Bobby Williamson,
He
did you
did,
say?
yeah,
And
he
then
played a fair bit.
did he play much under Mowbray before he like in his last season
Aye.
or two?
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, Nat Liam, you've
It's
absolutely
none other than Gary Smith.
no, I've got a story here, by
Mate,
the
I had
way.
no
Oh,
chance of that.
mate, I've got so. Do you remember? You probably don't remember this. Is my fucking stupid Hibs brain. So, oh, that mate, I'm fucking raging. Gary Smith's goal against Dundee United was in the programme a couple of weeks later on a guess where the ball went. Like picture him heading it at the famous five end, and you had to get. And I remember because I found this programme years later, and like a little loser kid I was, not only did I guess it, I drew little dashed lines for how the ball curved and went in the top corner. Oh, I'm devastated by that.
It's cute.
I was trying to go too techie. Ah.
Unlucky
Did he
lads.
play for in France?
Rennes had a season at Rennes where he made 14 appearances. In between two spells at Aberdeen. Bizarre, eh? Went from
Aye.
Falkirk to Aberdeen to Rennes to Aberdeen to Hibs to Cardiff to a loan spell at Dundee. I think he was. Am I right in saying he was like part of them? Oh no, no, no. I'm not going to say it. I think I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong. We'll move on. Second player. Second player. So second player. My first clue. My final game for Hibs came on the losing side in a cup final. You've
Narrows
digested
it
that
down.
one?
Narrows it down nicely, of course.
Not many players who've got that lucky accolade. I made my debut aged 26 and 34 days.
Okay.
I played 53 times for Hibs, scoring no goals and amassing 3 yellow cards.
Okay.
Who's got that one?
Yep.
Yeah. I made no fewer than 83 appearances for my national team, scoring 3 goals over a 12-year spell.
83 for national. That must be a dodgy nation then.
Oh my God, all of the players that I was considering. Oh wait. Right, okay. I'm gonna wait for the one last clue.
The last one's a wee bit of a giveaway.
Do you want me to guess
Uh,
before you give it then?
I'll give you.
Right.
I am a defensive
Jorge
midfielder.
Claros.
Correct.
Yes.
Jorge Claros. Well done. Well played.
I had to. I was like, the Hearts game wouldn't have been last, but then when we played Celtic the following year.
Aye.
Ah,
Aye.
yes.
Aye. You remember him, Craig?
Aye.
Fond memories.
Ah, beautiful. What a player. He was actually okay, to be fair. He was probably one of the well thought of ones.
Aye.
You
Aye.
should
I
have.
don't think many people had too many complaints with him.
No, well, maybe not. Definitely did after the first 6 months, but I think in his because he was an 18-month loan at the time as well, wasn't it? It wasn't like he got
Oh, was
re-signed
he?
that summer. I'm sure it
Right.
was like a.
I just remember apparently Rangers were in for him and we got him instead. And there was quite a lot of excitement at the fact that we'd got him ahead of Rangers,
Did he not
essentially.
get shot or something?
Shot in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely
In
right.
Jesus,
a garage.
fucking hell!
Or near a garage, certainly.
He's a
But yeah.
Gary's best mate.
Is that true? Is he like the Hauger with
I,
Melkerson? He just came to be roommates. Boy in the YouTube comments, so funny. He said, "Did you say RJ Claros?" It did sound a wee bit like you said RJ Claros, and you said it too. Fair. Uh, right. Okay. Next Hibs player. So this player is also an internationalist. Just wait a wee second. We'll just tell you how many caps out for his country because for some reason I've taken his Wikipedia page down. This player is also international. He's played 36 times for his country.
okay,
Okay. He made his debut for Hibs aged 33 and 36 days.
right.
Okay.
That is a nice
Signed for Hibs from an American club.
Jonathan Spector.
Ah, superb.
Well played, Craig. Well
Superb.
played
Yes.
on the third guess. Well
I
done.
had
And
it on
there,
the second one, by the way, on the
And
The
there
national
is,
team people.
there's this week's Harry link. That's his fucking favourite Hibs player,
Seen him in the locker room.
isn't
Are you wanting one more to so that we've not got a sort of tie break situation, or are we calling it a day?
it? Have you got one more ready?
I've got one more ready.
Do
Oh,
it.
go on then.
I got what I got one ready just in case. I was worried that you maybe would maybe maybe what was I going to say? What was the words I was going to use? Be
Sacked
a
off.
tiebreaker.
Aye, tiebreaker.
I worried there was going to be a tiebreaker. Okay, here we are. So player number 4. So this player played exclusively in England and Scotland.
Okay.
He made one substitute appearance for Hibs.
Right.
That appearance came in a 4-1 defeat away at Kilmarnock.
Philip Airy. Is that no?
Well
Phil Airy.
played, Phil Airy.
Oh,
Yes. Fucking
Phil Airy.
superb.
So I don't think many people remember Phil Airy. So I'll just go through the rest of the clues. Signed him from Newcastle on loan. After Newcastle, they went to Gateshead on loan from Newcastle still, and then Blyth Spartans. And I think just essentially kind of fell out the game. I think he was signed at a time where we had Agogo, Soji,
Wait, was
O'Connor,
I
and
think
was
he
Griffiths
was
there as well?
so he'd have been there with Griffiths and O'Connor if Griffiths had signed because he came in the summer, I'm
Hmm.
sure. Whereas then Soji and Co. No, Soji would have been there still because he was already there. A go I think. Oh, no, I know. He did was summer too. Aye, aye.
We should do a special guest who have won appearance wonders because we've had Spectre and Airy there, but there's a few I can think of. Nathan Wood you could throw
That
into
would
the
be
mix
good.
as well.
did
So
Spectre
one
not come out
appearance
of
one.
Tynecastle?
That was it.
That was it.
Was that all he played?
Aye.
Aye,
Oh,
aye,
Another Tynecastle one. Michael Devlin.
yes,
I've got a
aye.
game for yous, and I've not told yous about it, and I've decided that we're doing it because I'll forget about it. So I seen a TikTok this morning, when I was having a wee scroll before work, and they were guessing players in the Premier League in England that had scored between 80 goals, but no more than 100 Premier League goals. So it got me thinking about Hibs players and obviously what would be a good range for that. So I'm going to give you the criteria here, right? I'm going to say it's all competitions in the 21st century, and the reason I'm saying that is, see that sort of Alex McLeish team? That's as far back as we're going, all right? So
Craig,
it's
unlucky son.
I'm still
it's
toiling.
right. So it's players that have scored between 20 and 50 Hibs goals.
It's quite a wide range that.
There's 16 players, so we're going to go fairly quick fire here, all right? And we'll see so there could be a tiebreaker. If there's a tiebreaker, I will figure it out at the time, all right? Who would
Okay,
like to go first?
I'm
Leo.
happy to go first.
Right,
Aye,
Liam. First up, Hibs players between 20 and 50 goals this century for the club.
and this is all competitions this century.
It has to be, given the volume of goals that they've
Okay,
all scored
okay.
here, I would suggest.
We'll go for the start of the century. I'll go David Zatelli.
No. There's
Zatelli didn't
60.
get 20 goals.
No, according to Transfer Market. So if anything's wrong, I do apologise. Craig?
Canberra.
Correct. Liam?
Jamie McLaren.
No. Remember, I just want to make it clear as well that there's championship goals in here as well.
Ah,
Right,
right.
Craig to take a 2-0 lead.
I can only come up with players that'll definitely score more. Uh, McGinn?
Nope.
Oh, fuck, I thought he'd be close.
17 goals.
Oh, come on.
Liam?
Friend of the show, Thomas McManus.
Correct. 22 goals.
Wow.
2-1. Craig?
Scott Brown.
not on my list. Let's see how many goals Scott
Be
Brown scored.
surprised.
You
Scott
kidding?
David Zatelli shows us 13, Liam. Scott Brown shows us 15.
Oh,
Oh,
Back to you, Liam, to
that's
tie it
poor.
up.
oh man, the fucking pressure of this. Chris Killen.
Oh, fucker, that's what I was
Chris
thinking then.
Killen also had 17
That's all right.
goals.
17
17,
goals all comps.
17, seven. This maybe might be
Is that
seven.
just league?
It's 17 and 29. And he was injured loads. Could that just be league?
I think
Could
he
that
would have
just be
played more than
league?
29 games for Hibs, to be honest.
Right, well, still, there's loads of answers for you to pick. Craig, to go 3-1 up.
Am I 2-1 up? Like, when did I get the two?
Yeah, you got your first two. No?
Did I? No,
Ah,
I
you got
said
your...
McGinn and Brown.
No, you said Canberra and... I know, it's
Well,
1
that's
nil.
one
Aye.
each.
I won each, sorry, to go 2-1 up. Fucking hell, boys, there's
Uh,
some low-hanging fruit here. I'm really glad how much this is stressing you out. I thought it would.
I just didn't want to go like too high because I know
There's
there
got to
is
be a time
quite a
limit on how
few.
long this guy
Aye.
takes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Boyle.
Steven.
I know it's wrong, but I'm just saying Boyle.
Martin Boyle has 91, so he is too high. Liam, for your
Abdesalam
first.
Benjaloun.
I'm sorry to tell you, buddy. Benji has 15.
That can't be right. He can't have
It
only scored
must be
15
league.
goals.
I apologize. It must be league. But still, come on. There's so many players to pick from here.
Stephen
So
Fletcher.
there we go. Right, there we go. We're cooking. 2-1. Stephen Fletcher, 46. No, sorry,
Uh,
not 40. I know, 46. Give you a clue. Someone else has 46.
Ivan Sproul.
17.
Is that right?
Craig. This is howling. You're getting two guesses each.
James
Craig's winning
Collins.
Nah.
That's not even counting. Back to you, Liam.
Uh,
I can't
Dean
think of
Shields.
players.
Dean Shields.
Yes, Dean Shields has 24. So
Yes.
does that put you ahead? Is that you 2-1 ahead? No,
No,
2-2,
2-2.
2-2, 2-2. Right, with Craig the chance to go 3-2 ahead.
This century players. I'm trying to buy time. Owen Doyle. Got to
No,
be.
right,
What?
Liam. Owen Doyle is not on this list. Mate, he was only there for 1 year, mind you. He played
I know.
1 foot. Right, Liam, you've got a chance to go ahead. Is that two? That's 2-2. Chance to go ahead
I'm
here.
trying to work through it in a sort of timeline, and I think I'm getting to about Yogi's team, and I'm going to say Colin Nish.
Correct. Liam goes ahead. 3-2. Now, I did
Fuck
just
that.
say that there was only going to be 2 rounds left. So, Craig, this is to tie it up and to give us a little OT.
Right, Harry.
There's so many obvious ones, boys. I'm so sorry, but there really is.
I'm trying to think of strikers.
5, 4, 3.
Cummings?
Too many goals. 70. Liam is our winner. 3-2. Would you like to hear the names that you did not
Can I
get?
have some can I have some more goes? 'Cause I
Aye,
think
go
I've
for
got
it.
some in my back pocket. So Lee Griffiths.
Yep.
What, you never got
Um,
more than 50?
38.
um,
Mate, he's only here for 2 years.
Two years, huh?
but he didn't score that many in his first season,
First
Griffiths,
season,
did
he
he?
scored fuck all.
He did score a few. I don't know if this is miles off, but Dominique Malonga.
22.
Oof.
So he's in.
And I think this might be out, but Tony Stokes.
46. Him and Stephen Fletcher. Him and Stephen Fletcher are the top end of the bracket. So you've got
Right.
Stokes and Fletcher 46. Who do you think's third? Come on, tell me. Recent Hibs player. Left in the last. Played for Hibs last season.
Evan Nisbet.
Nope, he's 8th. He's next. Played for Hibs last season. Me and you we were all at his last game.
Paul Hanlon.
Worst game in last season, arguably. Scottish Cup. Scored.
Oh, Doige. Fuck.
No, he didn't score, but I dodged. 41, Nisbet 39, Griffiths 38, Canberra 30, Paul Hanlon 28, Mixu Patalainen 27,
Oh, Mixu.
Colin Nish 25, Dean Shields 24, Russell Latapy 23, Malonga 22, McManus 22,
James
Eh,
Keatons.
James Keatons makes it at 20,
Oh,
Ellie Yuan makes it at 21,
Really?
right.
I
and
didn't think he's bagged that many times.
extra bonus points for the midfielder who finishes the list with 20 Hibs goals.
Grant Brebner.
Nope.
Liam Craig.
Nope. How much a fan were you both when DTS made its very first episode? Scored the winning goal on the first ep as the game that
Oh, no, Livy.
we had just maybe no, it was the game after that. There you go.
Yeah.
It's in COVID season. Scored a penalty.
Scott Allen.
Nah, he's just missed it on 17. Away to St Johnstone. Arguably my
Oh,
favorite.
Stevie Mallon. Stevie Mallon.
Yeah.
How did Stevie Mallon get to 20? Is there
20
some players who are
goals.
not on that? You go, how are they not on that? And then like Benji, for example, like I think I can probably name all of Benji's goals for Hibs. But
Players, Grant Bebner that you mentioned has 12, Liam Craig 12,
no Joe Newell.
no. Owen Doyle had 15, Benji 15, Scott Brown 15, our current head coach David Gray 15, Zatelli 13, and then
15
Joe,
for a right back, by the way.
Disappointed
That's impressive, by the
Joe
way.
Newell,
David Gray got 15 goals.
Joe Newell has 12.
I'm surprised at
Also
that.
on, making up players that scrape into the top 50, Maizan Marlida 11, Venti 11, Zamama 11, Rob Jones 11, Horgan, Boozy, Lewis Stevenson.
Nay, Slivka. Slivka should get double because all his goals are against the old firm.
Do you
So
want
I'd probably.
do you want to hear something that sounds stupid? But kind of Jamie McLaren and Kukarevich both have 9 goals. And their goal scoring ratio, McLaren 9 and 30, Kukarevich 9 and 33.
Oh, wow.
But see, when you
I'm,
think about like the two spells, you just wouldn't have them in the same
I'm not having that Jamie
stratosphere.
McLaren's only scored 9 goals.
It must
I
be
just
league,
can't
boys. I do
accept that.
apologise if I threw you off to start with that. Must, but then I don't know. 33. Wait, I don't. I feel like it must have been league, but
I'm actually surprised Ollie Shaw's not got a wee bit more as well.
12 he's on.
Uh,
I think that was the best young striker in Europe just before COVID hit. It's a fucking catastrophe what COVID's done to his career.
He was
Well,
excellent at Oriam, to be fair.
given
I still can't believe Zatelli never got 20. That genuinely is going to haunt me to this day, that shout.
I was hoping that there's gonna be some pelters for you in the YouTube chat there, so I've just brought it back up, but I'm not. You've got away quite easily. Did you
My
enjoy that?
performance
Because
it
I
was
really
good, but it
enjoyed.
was so poor.
No, well, Paco Luna never got 20 as well. What about Paco Luna?
Mate, he was in like the low tens, I think. It was like
Oh, really?
12. Aye. It's
Um,
mate. It's
Shushi.
is that just 12 and 50?
That's
Does
not
that?
good.
Let me tell you. I'm going to quickly just click on his profile here.
I think there's like a what do you call it? A sort of thing that you apply for scoring important
Nostalgia.
goals, isn't there? And
Aye.
obviously the more time that passes, let's go. There was a season that I think it was maybe under Bobby Williamson. There was a season where Ian Murray scored, like, I kid you not, like 12 or 13 goals from midfield. And I was like, oh, Ian Murray, but then he didn't do that. I don't think
He
that
was
was, I think that was
17,
just a
by the way.
one-off season.
He was,
Really?
or
They probably all came in one season. They
I would
literally.
just like to say that they were all comps because Paco Luna's league record is
Mm,
8 in 42. So
that's
that
not
was
great.
so they numbers were actually all competitions, which by the way, that just shows to me how good across. I know he had a couple of dodgy spells at the end. Anthony Stokes 46 and 94.
That is some goal scoring rate in it. I
Aye.
bet like almost exactly 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Like, see if we could one thing we could do in the summer. See if we could go out and sign a striker that scores a goal every second game.
Derek Riordan 102 and 256, so not far off
Yeah.
Played
that.
a lot of games in the left wing rather than as well, so you have to
Jason
apply a bit of a tax for that.
Jason Cummins obviously in the championship 71 and 149.
Mm.
Very, very impressive. Lee Griffiths 38 and 78, Canberra 30 and 84. Other than that, anything notable? Not massively, if I'm being honest. Everything else
Wednesday,
is
Dodgy
quite.
scored.
Dodge average was a 1 and 3, 41 and 148.
I think that's pretty good.
Not bad for your sort of second fiddle striker. Aye, boys, I think that was quite good.
I really enjoyed that, mate. It was a good shout, that game. I really enjoyed that. We should have done that first rather than talk about Hibs v St Mirren. That would be much more fun.
Well,
Um,
that's
I
taken
mean,
us nicely up to an hour.
I,
We've
I,
all.
it's going to haunt me tonight, though. That I'm still haunted by that.
I'm disappointed, to be honest. I enjoyed it, but I was poor there. Like,
I'll see if I could come up with other ones. Like I maybe should have narrowed it down, maybe just to like 30 to
nah.
50 or something. But I thought that'd be too niche, do you know, like with not being. I'm loving some of the shouts like Ulrich Larson. Oh, there's a good one. John Lee. Would you have David Murphy or Lewis Stevenson at left back?
Murphy.
I know, but it's Lewis Stevenson.
I was going to say I've got to stick with Lewis Stevenson despite it being the wrong choice.
That almost epitomizes this podcast perfectly. I'm gonna I ken what I'm saying is wrong. I'm gonna stick with it and I'm gonna fucking run with it. Just
By the way,
like
another one that must have got close to it is Zamama. I'm still thinking
yeah,
about
he
it.
I
was.
was
Because,
thinking about
I
Zamama.
just mentioned he was on the second page here. It shows how much you pay attention to me, like, but he got
I never heard you. Sorry.
by the way, miles off it. What'd you
Really?
get? Guess what Jinky would be?
11.
Spot on.
17? Oh,
11.
right.
11 and 81. Do you know, I loved Zimmerman as a player, but the overriding memory that I can't get out of my head is when he like stubbed his toe taking a free kick against Hearts and the ball never really made the wall. Like it's just
Uh,
like I don't it's just like do you know you get the wee weird things. Winger, total different style. Daryl Horgan. What do you think he done? Same amount of games. Won a
important
derby.
goals. Important goals. 13.
10 less.
Hmm.
Another, if you've been a long time listener to the pod, you'll remember G and me saying just how big a player he's going to be for us in the COVID season, with him then being sold 2 days later and Jamie Murphy being brought in to replace him. So that shows exactly what we
Hmm.
know, because I think he'd started the season well away to Livy when Nisbet got a hat trick. Anyway, boys, I think that will do us. We've hit the hour mark somehow, with two rather enjoyable games. Looking back on some ex-players, we'll be back next week, hopefully reviewing a fantastic 3 points for Hibs as we move to 13 games unbeaten. Let's fucking go. Cheers.
A shout out to G's son who's watching us for Warsaw. Shout out G's son,
Oh,
Alan.
superb.
There you go.
Ah, class.
Got it in.
Class. Cheers, boys.
Right.
Cheers.
That should be us. That should be